Item number 6 is a public hearing to consider a request for administrative relief for Miriam C. Rodriguez for Lot 28, Block 4, revised amended plat of Riviera Village, Key Largo.
Make a motion for purchase.
Second.
For discussion, I have a problem with this. I've been having a problem with these for about 2 years. We are going by a county ruling from a long time ago that suggests, and that's the word used, suggests that we apply for purchase for any lot that is designated a SPA, a 3A, and obviously a Tier 1, but we won't go into that. Both of these, number 6 and number 7, are in the same subdivision, and these are subdivisions with houses, and both lots are one street off of the waterfront, purchased by these people, probably to build a house to sell. I don't know. Maybe they're going to move into them. But the point is they were purchased, what, 2004, 2003, somewhere back in there, with the intention of building, and they have been in the system, the ROGO system, ever since then. They've been in that system for 4 years. And for us to purchase these lots, I have to ask why we're purchasing. Why are we doing this? Because the lots, there are probably 6 lots there. Yes, they're wooded, but everything around them is built. This is a genuine subdivision. This is one of the things I always thought was supposed to be an infill area. You have a subdivision, you infill that subdivision to areas that are larger and or bordering a protected area. A lot that borders a protected area, I would definitely say purchase. But these odd and various lots that are coming up just because they have a whole whack of trees on them, I don't know why we're purchasing. We should be saving our money for the tracts of land that truly do need to be preserved.
May I?
Yes, you may. Sorry.
I want to caution us looking at the trees instead of the forest, and I see us moving more and more toward looking at the individual lots instead of looking at the whole area. We may, and probably will be soon, we'll end up purchasing Tier 3 lots. We'll end up purchasing Tier 3 lots because we don't have allocations to give for building permits. If we give allocations to these lots that can be preserved, then we end up buying a lot that probably should end up with a building permit, but we don't have the building permits to give to them. So it's a property rights issue as far as that's concerned. We're going to end up at the end of the road buying Tier 3 lots.
But see, I look at it from the opposite end of that rainbow. You are saying that if we buy this lot, if we give them an allocation, then we're going to eventually have to purchase Tier 3 because we have run out of allocations.
Correct.
Is that a reason to deny somebody a permit to build now because somebody 6 years down the road puts in an application and wants to build?
Well,
yeah, because that Tier 3 lot's going to cost you about 3 or 4 times more than a Tier 1 or SPA lot.
yeah, and the
Yeah, because that Tier 3 lot's going to cost you about 3 or 4 times more than a tier 1 or spa lot.
Yeah, and the,
Yeah, because that tier 3 lot's gonna cost you about 3 or 4 times more than a tier 1 or spa lot.
yeah, and the tier 3 lot's not going to destroy habitat like this lot would.
And at some point, we have to make a judgment.
And it's not someone buying a lot, 3 or 4 years down the road. I mean, at some point, we're looking at build out, and as Commissioner Nugent pointed out, we're going to pay a whole lot more for a tier 3 lot.
Yeah, we probably
That-
are, but that
that we
is-
consider buildable.
187 out of 217 on the ROGO list,
And-
and it's in FEMA injunction.
Yeah, this is on the FEMA list, too.
You know.
both of them are on the FEMA list.
Right,
I
right.
really do. I'm going to argue this every time they come up. I don't like it because we're punishing people who bought in good faith, presumably good faith, to put their plans in. This has already cost these people, I assume, a great deal of money. It did me when I went through the process. It's probably more expensive today. We're punishing them, not allowing them to build on lots in a subdivision when somebody else comes along 5, 6 years from now and gets an allocation. And I don't like it. I think we're playing with people's lives. We have a limited amount of allocations, give them out. When they're gone, they're gone.
Well, but
And then you're gonna have to start buying tier 3
But then you
slots.
start buying lots. For me, punishing them would be saying, we'll let you build sometime, in the next 100 years, and not giving them their constitutional right to have that property purchased. And we have the funds now to do that. We're not always guaranteed the funds. And I will say, through the Land Authority, we will not always be guaranteed the funds to be able to purchase this. At some point, it's going to go on the taxpayer's back. And that means putting it on ad
And
valorem
meanwhile,
tax.
we are, while waiting for all of these maybes and ifs and whys and wherefores to happen, we are denying people the right to build the house. They bought the lot with the intention of building.
Madam Mayor, we have
Yes.
put rules in place, and one thing that we have to be is consistent.
That's not a rule. It's a suggestion.
No, it's not.
Yes, it
We have
is.
a policy.
No, it's a suggestion. They suggest that anything that is 3A, spa, be purchased.
We better be consistent in our suggestions, because we're
Absolutely.
towing the line on property rights and providing people funding to purchase the lots that we are saying. I don't think we can say something's unbuildable, but it's more difficult to build. Are there flaws in the?
Longer to obtain an
Takes
allocation.
longer. Yes, that sort of.
We've identified these properties as more sensitive environmentally than the other properties, and we've identified these properties as more sensitive environmentally than the other properties, and
I guess I feel like that, it's a difficult choice whichever way we go, but we only have X number of allocations, and we have X plus Y number of requests for them. So do we determine who gets that X number of allocations?
I
by-
guess you do.
By
You
just
want
who,
to.
by just who is in the list first? Or which is going to go further in terms of preserving our most sensitive lands and containing the potential cost to taxpayers? And I just feel like it's, you know, it's our difficult position to be in to say we have to look at what is for the greater good, and just because you were in line first doesn't necessarily overcome the other benefits, public benefits of preserving more sensitive lands and trying to, as much as we possibly can, keep the tax burden down.
And I have no problem with that, except when it is in the middle of a subdivision and it's 6 lots with trees on them.
But there are
They
other
just have
subdivisions
a
that
what?
meet, there are other subdivisions that meet the criteria for infill much greater than do these that are spas and
You're picking and
3As.
choosing. Yeah.
My question is
It's
this
the only
here.
way that we can, and
Madam
we
Mayor?
have to be consistent with it.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I'm not sure if I'm correct or not, but the owners of these properties, they have the right to say no.
No what?
No,
That they won't take, they won't
Oh,
sell.
no, absolutely.
Yes, and they go back into the
They're not
system.
complaining.
Absolutely, they can. They're gonna be, let's see, 187, good Lord, they're gonna be sitting in there until they're old and gray, whoever they are.
Well, and you said they purchased in, what, 2000?
2004?
3, 4, I don't know.
Okay.
Now, did you
They
say
couldn't
that-
be clueless in 2003 and 4.
And the same people that own the lots?
Yeah.
Two separate lots?
Yeah, and I've seen
The
this,
same,
So
Rodriguez.
my guess would be that there's speculation involved in it.
Probably are.
alluded to. So,
That's not my job, George, to judge on that basis.
well,
But they
but
have-
if you're going to buy a lot and it was deemed Tier 3, I've been here for 25 years. Watching this, there was a gentleman that said he owned a lot for 30 years that was on the waterfront, and you have to be paying attention to what's going on here, and you run the risk if you're speculating on this property and you're not building on it. Things change in areas of critical state concern.
Unfortunately.
And
Yeah.
so I've told many of my friends, if you've got an undeveloped lot, you better get after it and get your permit and your allocation and get it behind you before things
So
change.
we
on it.
can turn.
So I've told many of my friends, if you've got an undeveloped lot, you better get after it and get your permit and your allocation and get it behind you before things
So
change.
we
on it.
can turn you down and make it for purchase.
I don't do this purposely. We set the criteria.
I didn't mean you personally.
and your point is well taken, Mayor. I don't think anybody enjoys doing this. We're in a situation in which, you know, you never want to be
All right, Mayor, I'd like to make a
put in
motion.
this situation.
Go
but we
right
are.
ahead.
Okay. Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Carruthers?
Yes.
Commissioner DeGenaro?
Yes.
Commissioner Nugent?
Yes.
Commissioner Wigington?
Yes.
Mayor Murphy?
No.